manage pilots within WatchMeFly, you do it within the competition center. So we're here on the dashboard for my event, which is the WatchMeFly demo event. And you'll see that up in the top menu, we have the option to go to pilots. And that's where you go to for the pilot management. So when we click in there, we go to the pilot list and we can see all of the pilots that are already registered or added to this event. And in this case, we have 6 of them. And this table gives you a bit of information about each of them. So firstly, we have their competition number, we have their name and their country. We also have the profile photo. Now this is their profile from their WatchMeFly profile from their membership. So they've added that photo themselves. We can see that we have 5 people who are members of WatchMeFly, and then there is 1 person who is not, which is Larry Gomez. And that's why we don't have a photo for that person. We also can see any of the other information that we've added, and we can also email the pilots using the email address that, again, they've used when they've signed up to WatchMeFly. So firstly, what we want to do is we want to add and remove some pilots. So let's jump into that. So to add and remove pilots, we go to the menu in the top right-hand corner and we click on the link to add remove pilots. When we come in here, we are provided with a list of all of the pilots that have been put into the WatchMeFly system. So as you can see, there's over 1,400 pilots in WatchMeFly. So chances are most of your pilots will already have been set up in the system, so you can go and choose them. So what we're going to do firstly is we're going to come in here and we're going to add or look for a pilot called Jules Winfield. And we can click on Jules, and then using the arrows here, we can add him to the list on the right-hand side, which is all the pilots registered for your event. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to remove Larry Gomez because he's decided not to compete in our competition. Once you've done that, you can save the pilot list, and that will take you back to the list with all of the pilots here. Now, just coming back into the add and remove pilots option, if the pilot is not in the list of available pilots, so not already in the WatchMeFly system, you can add the pilot yourself. Now, we ask you to make sure that you've checked the pilot list above very carefully, checked for different spellings of their name, or sometimes pilots use a different surname. Please check, because we do not want duplicates of pilots in the system. But in this case, we're going to use pilots that are already registered. So back here on the list, we can see we now have Jules Winfield's been added, but he does not have a competition number. So anytime you add a new pilot, they'll come in with a competition number of 0. So to add a number or give the pilot a number, again, come into that menu in the top right-hand corner and click on Issue Comp Number. When you do that, you'll see that we get form fields next to each pilot, and you simply can give them the number that you want to issue them. So we're going to give Jules number 6. And click on Update Comp Number. Once you've done that, they've all been updated and they have their competition numbers. Now what we want to do is assign the balloons to the pilots so that we can actually have photos of the balloons on the website for the public to view, as well as for the target team. And let me show you what that looks like. So when we come into the public website, we can go into the event, so this is our event we're looking at, and come to the pilots list. And what we can see at the moment is that each of the pilots are shown here, but the balloons have not been assigned, so they're coming up with a blank image. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to come back into the pilot management form here, and we're going to go into Vanita Green first. So we'll go into her edit details. So in the right-hand column, we have a menu and we can choose Edit Pilot Details. And in here, we have the ability to assign a balloon or add a balloon. So in the right-hand column, I can come in here and find the balloon that we want her to be flying. So in this case, we can search, and we're going to be using the balloon Sea Shepherd, which is a British registered balloon here. And we can simply click on Update Details. And what we can see there is that she's now been assigned that balloon. And if we go back into the website of the pilots page and refresh that page, we can now see that we have the details of what balloon she's showing. I'll just note we do not display the registration of the balloon on the public website for privacy reasons. We simply will show the name and the photo of the balloon. Now what also this does is it also helps the target team, because when the target team is using the target tool, and we'll talk about this in another lesson, they are able to bring up a balloon photos page and see all of the balloons that have been registered and see which pilot is flying them. And that just helps them identify who is dropping markers on the targets that they're scoring. Okay, now back in the list here, what you're also able to do is if the balloon is not included in the list of already registered balloons with WatchMeFly, you can also add the details about the balloon and upload a photo. The one thing that we do ask is when you upload a balloon photo, make the photo a square shape. Don't use a rectangular shape because it just makes it look a lot better when it's on the public website. But again, only add a balloon if you haven't already found it in the balloon database in the list above. Now the other thing you can also do is add some additional details about the pilot. So we might just go in and add her phone number so that we have that in the table, and if we need to ring her during the event we can do that very easily. And you can also provide some information about her crew chief. But what we're also going to do is we want to replace that photo. So sometimes the profile photos in WatchMeFly of pilots are sometimes a bit strange. They might use maybe just their balloon photo rather than their face. So you may want to override what they've already put up themselves. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to go and choose a file. We'll go to the desktop and we got a different photo of Vanita here. And then we simply click Update Details, and then we can now see that we have a pilot photo. So again, if we go back into the page here and we refresh that, we'll see that we're now using this different photo of Vanita Green. Okay, now what we want to do is the final step, which is to issue the Balloon Live token for each of the pilots. So you can see here that we've already been assigned 30 tokens by the administration team to use for our event. So we've got plenty of tokens that we can use for our 6 pilots. So to issue the tokens, what we're able to do is we can come into the top menu here and click on Issue Missing FAI Tokens. Once we do that and we confirm, we will then get each of the pilots will be issued with their own token. Now, what you want to be able to do then is then email each of the pilots their token so that they've got the information they need to enter into their Balloon Live app. So you can do that through the tools here. So you can either come to the menu in the top right corner and click on Email All FAI Tokens. And what that will do is send every pilot here that is a WatchMeFly member. So anyone that's been basically flagged as a member or has the email icon here, that will send out the email with the information. If the pilot is not a member of WatchMeFly, we don't have their email address and therefore can't send it to them. So you'll need to send that to them manually, either via your own email or write it on a piece of paper and give it to them during the briefing. In the menus here, you can also individually email the pilots. So if they did not receive the email that you sent, you can come in here and you can click on Email Token and you'll be able to do that as well. So that's it. That's the main aspects of pilot management within WatchMeFly.